Hi guys, figured I'd bring you a quick video today. I picked up a cook kit a little while back. It's one of the BCB Crusader cook kits, British military. Been wanting to try one out, so I gave it a shot, and it's pretty nice. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, just a little bit, but so far it shows a lot of promise. But that's actually not what I wanted to do the video about today. I was wanting to do the video about had to do more with the stove for the BCB cook kit. This is the stove. It's got a dish down here at the bottom of the stove, putting a solid fuel tab, or you can pour alcohol directly in there, burn that, fuel gels, all that kind of stuff. So I've been experimenting with some different alcohol stove setups for this. I have a Trangia that I picked up a while back, which is a terrific alcohol stove. It's a little on the heavy side, but it's solid. The problem is, while it fits down inside there, this bail won't close. If you guys aren't familiar with this bail closes over here. And the cup fits right on top of that. So obviously the Trangia is not going to work. I just saw a modification where somebody had taken this ring out and actually cut out the bottom of the stove so that it sits right on top of the Trangia and the burner actually pokes up through. That looked like a pretty interesting modification. I may pick up a spare one of these and give that a try too. I don't know. In the meantime, like I said, I was experimenting with some other alcohol stoves that I could make. The obvious ones are the ones made out of soda cans or beer cans. I've made several of those, and they work pretty well. They're not the most durable things in the world, but they do work. They don't take too terribly long to make. They're not very hard. But I had come across an idea on YouTube, and I wish I could credit the guy. I don't remember who it was. I think it was a British guy. He had used a shoe polish tin. I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. I have some of those laying around. And initially what I did, and how I've tested this in the field so far, was I took some fiberglass wick material and I coiled it up on the inside here. I actually took a piece of metal screen and formed it to the inside of the tin, and put that down over top, so it's all kind of encapsulated. It's not going to come out real easy, and it kind of, I guess, helps keep the alcohol distributed and burning evenly. I don't know. I saw a bunch of people using this type of material, some carbon felt material, variety of different materials. I had this stuff on hand, so I figured I gave that a try, and that works. Actually, it works really well, just as is, open like this. I tried it outside yesterday. It was fairly mild out. It was calm. There wasn't a whole lot of wind, and it boiled. This cup filled up to right about here, which is a ½ liter. So a substantial amount of water, and it boiled that in, it was under 7 minutes. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was under 7. With just this set up like this, placed on top of the ring, and then burning just like that. That worked pretty good. I had two things to boil yesterday. I had a cup of water, which, like I said, it took a little under 7 minutes, six and change, to bring this to a full rolling boil. And then emptied that out into the supplied cup, made my tea, and then put my soup in here to cook the soup. Now, in the meantime, the stove had gone out. Didn't have that much run time. So I had to fill it again and do the process over again, which was okay. That worked fine. Went through what seemed to me like a lot of fuel. So I was thinking how I could make this more efficient. And I said, well, what if I put some holes in the cap here, and all I did was take a stick pin and punch holes around it. And if I could get that to pressurize, the alcohol vapor should come out the holes and should bloom up and burn pretty good. So that's what I did today. I'll show you how it works. It's not perfect. I still need to do some tweaking on it, but it shows a lot of promise. So I'm going to keep messing with this idea because I kind of like it. As is, when I fill this up, just running it inside, and I apologize for bringing this to you guys inside. It's actually pretty nice out. It's mild, but it's windy as hell. It's just howling. You wouldn't be able to hear me. You wouldn't be able to see anything. This thing would be blowing all over the place. So we're doing it in here. But in any case, I was experimenting with this morning, and this ran for about 15 minutes, which is about twice as long as just running it wide open. Now, where wide open like this boiled this cup in, like I said, just under 7 minutes with a lid on. I guess the flames are reduced a little bit. Like I said, it's pressurized. It blooms out of these holes, increases the run time. It took about 9 minutes, I think, to bring this to a boil. But then I would have had plenty of time left to, like, you know, if I was using this setup yesterday, throw my soup in there, and I think that would have been more than enough time to warm the soup up to where I needed it to be. So, like I said, it's not perfect, but it shows some merit, and I figured I'd show it to you guys, and if you like it, maybe you could give it a try. It's kind of cool. It's real small. I mean, you could fit this in your back pocket. It's about the size of a snuff can. It's a lot more solid than the penny stoves that you make out of pop cans or beer cans. And it's real easy to make. You don't have to cut anything. Nothing at all. Take your wicking material, whatever you choose, fiberglass, or I think this is a fiberglass gasket material for around stove doors, if I recall correctly. Coiled that up, made a piece of screen to go down over top of it, and punched some holes, and that was it. Really, really simple, really easy, and fairly effective. So I'll reset the camera. I'll give you a close-up of how this thing works. And I guess that'll be it. Alright guys, like I said, this is just a standard small size tin for shoe polish. Just tight pressure fit between the top and the bottom, and it's got this little tab here to knock the top up. That's how they come. So in the wide open form, like I said, you can see the coils of that fiberglass material. On top of that is just some metal screening, some mesh. And to run that is very simple. Put your alcohol in. And I fill it up to not all the way to the top where it's flowing out, just to where I can start seeing like the ring of liquid at the top of the mesh. And to run it as is, I'll show you in here. It's kind of the point of me making this thing. It just fits right on top of that ring there. And you just light it. And that's it. That's simple enough. You know, I don't know that that needs any further explanation. You know, to boil your cup, you'd throw this bale over, put your cup of whatever it is you're going to boil on top of that, and let it go. And this runs hot. Like I said yesterday, moderate temperatures, low wind outside. It was, I don't know, probably ran 8-9 minutes tops, probably closer to 8.5. It was almost done when this was done boiling. All right, it's out. You give that a second to cool down, and I will show you the other method of operation. All right, guys, like I said, this is just a standard small size tin for shoe polish. Just tight pressure fit between the top and the bottom, and it's got this little tab here to knock the top up. That's how they come. So in the wide open form, like I said, you can see the coils of that fiberglass material. On top of that is just some metal screening, some mesh. And to run that is very simple. Put your alcohol in. And I fill it up to not all the way to the top where it's flowing out, just to where I can start seeing like the ring of liquid at the top of the mesh. And to run it as is, I'll show you in here. It's kind of the point of me making this thing. It just fits right on top of that ring there. And you just light it. And that's it. That's simple enough. You know, I don't know that that needs any further explanation. You know, to boil your cup, you'd throw this bale over, put your cup of whatever it is you're going to boil on top of that, and let it go. And this runs hot. Like I said yesterday, moderate temperatures, low wind outside. It was, I don't know, probably ran 8-9 minutes tops, probably closer to 8.5. It was almost done when this was done boiling. All right, it's out. You give that a second to cool down, and I will show you the other method of operation. Okay, to run this, as a pressurized stove, all you need to do, put your lid on. Use that down until it clicks in place. You can see got the holes up in the top here. That's where the vaporized alcohol come out, catch on fire. Just like a penny stove. Or the Trangia works in the same principle. Now with a Trangia, I don't have a penny stove handy. Like I said, the Trangia, it's got the holes up top here. Put your alcohol down in here. It wicks into whatever material they've got on the inside, and then distributes up. This heats up, gets everything hot, vaporizes the alcohol. Vaporized alcohol comes out of the jets, blooms up, gives you your flame. Okay? But you heat this up by lighting your alcohol in here. All right? This doesn't have that. I tried indenting this a little bit and it just started to buckle on me. It didn't work out really well. So I may experiment with something further with that. I don't know. In the meantime, to run this pressurized, you need a way to heat this up, to pressurize it. And this kind of works pretty well with a stove. I'll put a dash of alcohol down here in this base. Put the stove over top of it so where it's not completely choking your flame out. Let it heat up. As it heats up, that flame's going to ignite the burner ring, and then all you got to do is push it over in place. So we're going to do that. Take just a little dash of alcohol here. Can't say as I've worked out exactly how much you really need for this to be effective. That I'm in the very early stages of experimenting with this. Put your stove down here. And you could easily do this with a ferro rod. Get it going. Hopefully you can see that. The alcohol's burning, in turn heating up the alcohol inside the stove. And you can already see the jets starting to ignite. It's been, I don't know, how long was that, 10 seconds? 15 tops? Now it's inside, it's warm, not a big deal, but there she goes. The jets have bloomed. What are you going to do? Let's push that over there. Set your bail. And you can put your cup on it. I don't have anything in here, so yeah, I'm not leaving that on. That's it. That's what I've come up with so far. It was really easy to make, simple to make. I imagine you could probably omit the wicking material and the screen from the inside if you just want to run it pressurized like this. You'd probably omit it anyway. Probably fit more alcohol in it. It'd be more prone to spilling though. So far it seems to be working pretty well as is. So, put this out. That's that. So that's my shoe polish tin what would we call it? Dual mode alcohol stove. It's simple, it's cheap if you got some of these laying around. Easy to make, and it seems pretty effective. I'm actually kind of excited to get this out in the colder weather and see how it runs and how it holds up and how well it does. So if you have any thoughts, suggestions on how to make it better, or leave me a comment. If you like this, hit the like button. Check it out. Alright guys, thanks for taking the time to watch. See ya.